Anyway, the best way to get something done, if it holds near and dear to you that you like to be able to, anyway, from Charlotte, another line going from in Florida down to Tampa of Putin's kleptocracy. Yeah. And Joan Shingang, I'm going to pronounce it, Shanga, $159 billion led. America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was going to put him. The idea that Los Angeles and what am I doing here? For two reasons. One, we haven't been able to communicate it in a way that is, let me say another way. But the nature, not a solid meeting with they make a very good point. Here's the deal. Here's what drives the driver in the states that are affected. Here's what you can do, the drivers. We want to expand pre-K for 3- and 4-year-olds, millions of pre-K students.
Good evening and welcome to Kingdom Lum Small Town. That was a little snippet of your fearless leader. Good evening tonight, everybody. Welcome. It's Wednesday night live stream. Got a lot of stuff that I'm going to cover. And if anybody is out there and happens to see this on Rumble, they started a new URL so that you could, I guess, post a Rumble. I guess it's in the beta stages. So finally it's here. I'm trying it, getting ready for it. So if you're out there on Rumble tonight and you happen to see me, just shoot me a line and say, hello, I can see you. That would be greatly appreciated. I'll have to check on it after the show. So I just wanted to open the show tonight with this crazy video that I'd seen with Joe Biden, your fearless leader. Rest easy, sleep well tonight, knowing that you're under Joe Biden's leadership in this crazy clown world that we're into. So I thought the video was a little bit more. They were supposed to do a lot more gaffes in it, but I think I got the short version of it. So welcome, everybody. I hope that you guys are doing well tonight. I've got just a bunch of things that I want to cover that I've been putting off. We've got so much coming up this holiday season, this Christmas season. Reagan Box will be a guest upcoming very soon. Michael Anthony, we're doing a big Thanksgiving special next week. It's going to be a lot of fun. And we've got some more guests that are coming up as we're going to do like a 4-panel. I don't know if we're going to be together or if we're going to be on the split screen, but much more content to come. So thank you for checking this out. If you like it, just subscribe to the channel. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel, the Rumble channel. I am trying to expand things here, so you feel free to share it with like-minded individuals and just help me get the word out. Maybe I can build up an audience to where, maybe we can monetize and we can use money to create good things. If not, I could care less, really. I'm enjoying doing everything. So welcome to the show this evening. I'm going to kind of jump right into it. So the first thing I kind of wanted to cover was something that somebody sent to me, and this was off of X, Twitter. I cannot call it. I can't call it X. I call it Twitter. But here it goes. If you're not following, this is from Inversionism. Now, I studied this a little bit, and, a lot of the stuff we're going to talk about, you're not going to see in the news. There's going to be covered, but it's not something that's going to be talked about, right? So I just want to read a little bit of this to you. If you're not following Inversionism on Twitter, check his channel out. But Twitter right now is on fire with information. I mean, there's so much information comes out, and all you hear from the mainstream media is, oh, it's hate speech and it's disinformation and all that garbage. But we're gonna cover this. So this is gonna little tie in. I'm gonna blow up the screen here so we can see this from inversionism. So it says, while everyone is being distracted by Nikki Haley being an absolute lunatic and trying to dox every person on the internet, the FCC is having a vote tomorrow on Biden's equity plan for internet that would give them effective control of all internet services and infrastructure in the country, which would allow them to enact insane policies such as this and other totalitarian controls that will certainly lead to more draconian censorship. So I'm just going to read a little bit of this because there's a lot of tech stuff that's just getting crazy, but apparently this is some sort of equity plan for the internet. We hear this term equity all over the place. We know what they're talking about. The text of the order expressly provides that the FCC would be empowered for the first time to regulate each and every ISP, your internet service provider. So it's just going to get worse and worse for what we're doing here, what anybody's doing. The control of information, the Orwellian 1984, right? Network infrastructure deployment, network reliability, network upgrades, maintenance. So in other words, this flows right in with the ESG, how they're going to be able to kind of take control of the internet, take control of the flow of data, even down to your network maintenance, right? So they will be able to throttle you and do all kinds of things, right? And then the next bullet point: speeds, capacities, latency, data caps, throttling. I mean, prices. It's absolutely insane what this bill covers. And of course, we're not thinking about this because we're in the middle of a world war that is just ramping up, right? But it's just crazy. I mean, complete tyranny, right? They're going to be now. They're going to be, are they going to control your speech? Of course, they're going to shut you off. That's what they're kind of gearing towards. So, mandatory arbitration clauses, pricing, deposits, discounts, customer service. I mean, every single aspect of the internet will, if this were to go through, this equity plan for the internet, right? And so it says it will get worse. The FCC reserves the right under this plan to regulate both actions and omissions, whether recurring or a single instance. So, in other words, all of us people that get put in Facebook jail all the time, right? They're basically going to be able to do that with your internet service provider. They're going to be able to cut you off at any time that they want. And in other words, if you take any action, you may be liable, and if you do nothing, you may be liable. So it's just, there's no path to complying with this standardless regime. So this is the actual, let's see if I can pull this up here. This is Office of Commissioner Brendan Carr. You can look at this on this Twitter feed, but there's also, he links to some documents. So Commerce, Senate.gov. Senator Cruz leads Senate Republicans in calling on FCC to halt digital equity plans. So basically, I'm fact checking this for you. This is not something that just somebody pulled out of a hat. This is a real-time, bill that's designed to just take control of the internet. So wonderful. I mean, it's just great news, right? It's insanity what we have going on here. So who knows? We're going to have to keep an eye on that. Let's see here. Let me get rid of this. So I thought this was very interesting this evening from CNN, and of course we covered it this week. Gavin Newsom, right? So I got some thoughts on that we'll go into. China. It says CNS. China is using the world's largest. Oh, this is not the one I wanted to cover, but we'll go into this right now. So it's something I thought was really crazy. This is let's see if I can find the date here. November the 13th. China is using the world's largest known online disinformation operation to harass Americans, a CNN review finds. So I read this article earlier this week, a couple of days ago. I'll just read the front of it. The Chinese government has built up the world's largest known online disinformation operation and is using it to harass U.S. residents, politicians, and businesses, at times threatening its targets with violence, a CNN review of court documents and public disclosures by social media companies has found. So you can find this story. It's only about 3 days old, but I found it very interesting how for the last several years, right, we've been told that Russian collusion was the reason that we that Donald Trump got elected to presidency, all of the Russia collusion, Russia, the Russia hoax and everything. And then they released this paper saying that China is actually runs the world's largest disinformation campaign, as if we didn't know that to begin with, right? Which technically I'd say number one would be America. I mean, America's probably right there on numero uno, and then China would be first, and Russia would be somewhere down the list. But I found that very interesting. It just goes to show you that everything is a facade, and everything that we're told all the time is just a constructed sort of matrix world that we live in, and it's the people that control the information are the ones who create the disinformation. So it's pretty crazy here. But anyway, that's just some food for thought that I wanted to share with you guys tonight. The one I wanted to go to next, let's watch this video real quick. I'm sure that some of you have seen this, but I thought it was pretty funny. Here we go.
I know folks say, oh, they're just cleaning up this place because all those fancy leaders are coming into town. That's true, because it's true. But it's also true for months and months and months prior to APEC, we've been having different conversations.
So there you have it, Gavin Newsom admitting that
President Biden
admitting that he cleaned up the streets of San Francisco for China's Xi Jinping, right? So on any other given day in America, our streets can be overrun with fentanyl and flocka and all these things, and bums on the streets all over the place, and entire districts shutting down. Yet when we have the Chinese president coming over to San Francisco, they decide to get a bulldozer and move all those people and get them out of the way. And it's just, have you ever seen anything like that in your life? It's insane. It's absolutely insane to wrap your mind around that. Now, why do I bring it up? I bring it up very simply because I just have this feeling they're going to run Gavin Newsom like they're desperate to get rid of Biden. They can't get rid of Biden, right? They can't do it and save face. So I believe that all this huge setup with DeSantis and going to debate Newsom and all these things, just leading up to a sort of a push for Gavin Newsom to become the Democrat primary frontrunner. So it's crazy to me that Xi Jinping would even be coming over here. I mean, 1 minute we're talking about we're gonna protect Taiwan at all costs, as China's gearing up to take over Taiwan during all this tumultuous battles that we have going on all over the world, our country, all right? And then all of a sudden, Xi Jinping is coming to see Gavin Newsom in San Francisco. So let's clean all the bums out of the streets. It's insane. It's this clown world insanity that we're living in. But anyway, I thought it was funny because he got pretty reamed for basically doing that right there. And God knows what will happen to San Francisco. I guess it'll go back to being the same way it was before. But I just, it's amazing to me what kind of clown world that we are living in. So let me see here. I just got some news stories tonight, man. We're just going to run through them. So keep your eyes on China, the prize, right? Let's see here. So I'm going to cover some breaking news here out of Georgia. And so let's just start with this. If you don't follow this channel, Liberal Hive Mind is on YouTube. It's a daily for me. I watch them all the time. But this story is it's a hard story to find, okay? But we all know about the 2020, 2022, the upcoming 2024 elections, where we're at. As you can see, I hope you can see down here. I'm going to pull it up a little bit. But it says, breaking, 150,000 ballots go missing in Fulton County, Georgia. State Defense resigns from case. So this is a crazy case that not anybody is talking about right now. So I tried to search all over the place for the story. I spent like 20 minutes trying to search for this, and I couldn't find it. So I'm going to play part of this video. So if you're on YouTube, go to YouTube and follow Liberal Hive Mind. So here we go.
Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind. We've got to get into some of these bogus leftist narratives. Today we're tackling the big lie. Democrats love to gaslight us They love to debunk us and fact check us with their nonsense BS narratives. Well, one of those narratives is in major jeopardy today. After years of claiming, no, there's no there. All the investigations have been done and they led to nothing. No evidence. It turns out that maybe there was evidence. It's just that, we couldn't get access to it. For some reason, the courts were dead set on hiding a particular batch of ballots, specifically in the state of Georgia, that raised significant concern. And now we're learning, as two Fulton County defense attorneys are withdrawing from the case amid questions, it's possible that the ballots in question were at some point destroyed. Yet they gaslight you, they call you crazy, they say you're insane, a conspiracy theorist, for having concerns. I don't know about you guys, but this is pretty concerning to me. The same Democrats who claim that Republicans are extreme and ushering in the end of democracy are the same people creating this scenario here that is leading to a loss of trust in American democracy. They love to call them baseless conspiracy theories, but I don't know, it looks to me like there might actually be a base here, huh? Let me show you guys exactly what I mean by that. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so we have initial reporting here from Kyle Becker at Becker News. He writes, trouble in Fulton County. High-powered defense attorneys move to withdraw amid questions about 2020 ballots. There's trouble in Fulton County, Georgia, as two high-powered criminal defense attorneys have suddenly filed a motion to withdraw from a 2020 election case. Criminal defense attorney Donald F. Samuel and Amanda R. Clark Palmer have motioned to withdraw themselves from the Favorito versus Wan case, according to the motion. In Superior Court of Fulton County, state of Georgia, we have a motion to withdraw as attorneys for respondents. Comes now attorney Donald F. Samuel and Amanda R. Clark Palmer, and hereby move this court for an order permitting their withdrawal as counsel of record for respondents in this matter, specifically respondents Aaron Johnson and Teresa Crawford. Undersigned counsel has followed the requirements of Uniform Superior Court Rule 4.3 and provided written notice to the affected clients of counsel's
Okay, so I'm not going to play the whole video, but I'll link the video so that anybody that wants to watch it can. This basically goes on to say that there's these two state attorneys that recuse themselves from the Garland Favorito case that's ongoing in Georgia now. And there's also a situation where there's supposed to be 150,000 ballots that were supposed to be kept safe and used for this case, and it's basically these ballots are gone. They've been destroyed. Okay, so it's mind-blowing to me at this point in time, with all of the revelations that are continuing to come out about the 2020 elections, and being my home state, Georgia, knowing what I know about Garland Favorito, voter Georgia, all of these litigated cases that are going on. And still to this day, we're in November of 23, less than a year before the election, and these court cases are abruptly being, kind of paused because the state attorneys are actually recusing themselves of these cases, and the evidence that's supposed to be under lock and key, that's supposed to be able to be discovered in court, are magically disappeared, and they're tore up. They're gone. Who knows what happened to them? So it's just every single day more and more validation across the nation that things are not right with our election systems, right? While our representatives, our establishment body of governance tells us that we're crazy, and we, we're jumping to conclusions. And here we go with just another one, over and over and over again. In the most recent local elections, the ES&S voting systems, they had to go public because some of their election equipment malfunctioned or reprogrammed, or however you want to call it, and they flipped votes. These things are going on all over the place. Now, I'm not saying that it's a perfect world and everything goes perfectly smooth. What I'm trying to say is that we know, we have so much empirical evidence here that things are not safe with our election systems, right? They're across the board. We can't even get court cases brought up in court with the right evidence or anything that can be discovered, because it's all being destroyed. And then we have state attorneys that are just recusing themselves from the case. This is 10th level clown world that we're in. But anyway, I'm not going to continue to harp on it. Check it out, man. I get so tired of this talking about, like, at this point now, if you don't know that there's some major things wrong with our election process across the board, there is no hope for you. I don't know what to tell you. And we're going to have to gear up this year. We're going to have to really, really gear up and really get involved with our polling processes, our election processes, because like it or not, Dominion voting systems in this state's not going away. It's going to be there. And we're going to have to really gear up and get out the vote and get people organized and just really go after it if we want to change anything. But anyway, like I said, this was a very hard story to find. I'd actually watched this a few days ago, so I'd been kind of searching for it, and I can't hardly find it anywhere. But it's something that you need to know about. I do plan on having Garland Favorito on the show at some point, whenever, probably after the first year. I'm just going to sit down and let him talk, let him feel it, catch us up on everything that's going on that he can. But they're working real hard. We appreciate Garland Favorito, voter Georgia. This is astounding to me when you think about our justice system and court cases and evidence and how they're not even hiding it anymore. I mean, it's just out in the open. Oh, sorry, your evidence is gone. We can't go through these. They've been destroyed. Oh yeah, we're just gonna let these attorneys recuse themselves, right? At the same time that you don't even have attorney-client privileges anymore, right? Like they're literally arresting attorneys in the middle of RICO charges and just. It's insane. It's just another part of insanity, and I'm glad it's coming out. I mean, the saying goes, it's not if the truth comes out, it's when the truth comes out, right? I don't know. I guess this thing went. I mean, a lot of these court cases are getting dragged in the mud and just over periods of time, so that statutes of limitations can really just be over with. Because you don't have to hold on to certain documents and certain things till a certain amount of time. And then after that certain amount of time, I guess you can destroy them. I mean, it's pretty nuts here. So, I wanted to talk a little bit about Marjorie Greene. So, a lot of things have been going on with Marjorie Greene, right? Still think she's a strong representative. There's certain things that I agree with her, disagree with her, but what you can say, you cannot deny that she's a fighter. But I thought this was pretty interesting here because this was on November the 14th. This is from her Twitter account. To the 8 Republicans who voted with Dems to kill the impeachment of Mayorkas, how many more Americans have to die while you claim impeachment has to be done the right way? This is pretty important to me because, I'm kind of a news junkie. I watched a lot of the hearings with Mayorkas. Man, he's a pretty nasty dude. Like when you sit there, I mean, like look at this guy's bug eyes, for example. God, let's see if I can pull this up, man. Like this dude is not a friend of anybody's. Can you see this dude's bug eyes right there? I mean, this guy, real smug, just don't like the guy. Now we've talked about him before, right? But this is just kind of nuts about how he's just let the border completely go. Let me get out of that. Here we go. He just played completely stupid about the immigration, the border, all these things. If you go back, I think it's Forbes. You can go back and look at a lot of the clips. You can go to C-SPAN and watch a lot of these, 5-minute snippets of him being questioned. And it's if you're driving, sometimes it makes you really mad. You just need to stop. Pull over to the side of the road because you just get freaking mad at listening to these people and these absolute liars. But Mayorkas is one. I mean, he's an enemy of the state. There's no doubt about that in my mind. I mean, the man is definitely an enemy. So I really applauded Marjorie for standing up to this. They also did this to Pete Buttigieg because he's probably the worst transportation secretary you could have ever had in any sort of capacity, right? So they're kind of coming after some of these people, for derelict of duty, really, is what it is. Mayorkas is not. I mean, he's such a shill, and but the crazy thing about it is that 8 Republicans decided not to go after this guy. So I just don't understand how, we talk, we need to focus on our local politics and we need to strengthen our parties and all this stuff. We can't even get the Republicans to stand up for something like this. I mean, on a whim. This shows you how much control probably lobbyist control, corporate control that all these people are under. You're always going to have people that are going to fight against you. And except if you're a Democrat, I guess you just have to mark off all the check marks and go along with whatever, no matter how stupid it is. But I applaud her for standing up like this and really just trying to go after Mayorkas and the crappy job that he's done. And I wasn't really prepared to bring up some videos tonight of him, nor would I want to waste my time with Mayorkas. But this is kind of a big story, and 8 Republicans, they blocked it, right? So you're not going to get anywhere with some of these Republicans we have in office. It's kind of a shame. So anyway, I've just been following her Twitter and just trying to make a little sense of what's going on here. But I don't know what other efforts are coming. I don't even know if Buttigieg. I'm sure that Buttigieg was the same way. It was blocked on him. I think they were wanting to pay him $1 for his job. But I'm glad to see Marjorie out there just continuing to fight. I mean, what can I say, man? I mean, I'm proud to have her and people like Colt Moore that's out there, like, really just shuffling the feathers. I mean, it doesn't have anything to do with the grand scheme of things, but I figured I'd call it out because no matter what, she's out there doing things like this, and she's trying to hold accountability, and I love it. So she also had a pretty serious death threat in the last week and a half that was kind of concerning. There's some, I didn't get, if there was video, I didn't get to hear the video. But I read the transcripts of it, and I didn't really want to post it up here tonight. But, of course, she gets death threats daily. And she had a pretty good interview with Alex Jones the other night on InfoWars. So you can always go to band.video and check that out, too. So, hey, kudos. Just keep fighting. I don't know where we're going to, in the clown world, that we're going to be able to move anything forward. But at the very least, she's trying. So. All right, here. So we're getting down. I probably won't stay on too much longer tonight. I'll save that one for the end. Now, this is just my little pet peeve here that came out. Let's see. This came out on October 26th, and it kind of flew under the radar for me. And then I believe somebody sent this to me. This is from Atlanta News First. Special session called after federal judge tosses Georgia voting maps. Lawmakers have until December 8th to draw new lines. Thousands of Metro voters could be drawn into new congressional legislative districts. So let's read a little bit here. A federal judge has ruled Georgia's legislative... hang on. Let me pull this up here so you guys can see it. There we go. Federal judge has ruled Georgia's legislative and congressional voting maps violate the Voting Rights Act of 65 and has set a deadline of December 8th for state lawmakers to draw new ones. Governor Kemp has called a special legislative session to begin on November 29th. All right, and it goes into the court case, which was, let's see, Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity, bringing a civil action file. So what it says here... The GOP-led Georgia General Assembly approved the maps in late 2021. The maps were drawn to make one Metro Atlanta district more friendly to the GOP while leaving another solidly in Democratic hands. Georgia's U.S. House delegation currently consists of 8 Republicans, 6 Democrats. The maps added more white voters to the 6th district by extending it north through all of Forsyth and Dawson, blah, yada, yada. So, of course, it's right here in Atlanta, right, I guess, in the metro area. But really, if you want to read the story, I will post a link to it. It's just funny to me how we want to criticize a state senator for calling for a special session through our governor for a RICO charge case on our ex-president, right? Won't call legislative session, but oh Lord, we're going to call a special session for this, right? It just shows the hypocrisy. I mean, really no news here. We have no representation in Georgia. Brian Kemp is a lame duck. He doesn't give a crap. He's not going to run for governor again. I mean, obviously, he's going to do everything he can to appease his donors and appease the corporatocracy that's going on in Georgia, whatever. It is what it is. But I find it very funny how this gets a special session, but we won't do a special session over a RICO case. It's killing me. You're killing me, Kemp. What in the world? I mean, good Lord. So, let's see. Now, this is my last story that I will cover tonight. And I didn't believe this at first. I had to go double check it. And so I want to make sure that everybody knows just about where we are heading. Okay. House Republicans help Dems preserve kill switch mandate that could shut down your car. I thought this was kind of fake news at the beginning, but it is not. This was back from the 8th, and it's already the 15th. So I've read several stories, but House Republicans failed to defund a federal kill switch mandate Tuesday night, requiring all vehicles produced in 2026 and onward to feature technology that can automatically disable the vehicle if impairment is detected, right? That's in quotes. If impairment is detected. This lays the groundwork for corporate and government access to monitor and interfere with personal movement, as if we don't already have the interference of personal movement. By a vote of 229 to 201, the lower chamber rejected the amendment proposed by Kentucky Republican Thomas Massie to defund the mandate embedded in the 2021. This was embedded in the 2021 Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. Massie's measure received 210 no votes from Democrats and 19 from Republicans. We got 19 Republicans up there who stood with, well, it doesn't even matter what they stood with. 19 Republicans said, no, we're going to let the kill switches go through. Way to go, Republicans. Way to protect this Constitution that we live under. Mind you that this is embedded, when they say embedded, in the God knows what kind of conglomerate bill, the 2021 Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, right? So let that sink in, that this was already embedded in some legislation that was passed in 2021. It is now 2023, and this should be in every new vehicle by 2026, right? We're coming to the end of 2023, right? So in less than 2 years. So what does that tell you? It tells you that to be embedded in this 2021 Infrastructure Act, all the car manufacturers are well ahead of this. They already know about this. They've probably already have the technology to do this. We know for a fact that certain cars already have kill switches. I mean, it's not rocket science, you know. It's that slow crawl, right? The boiling pot, you know. Very low boil over until it's, till the frog's dead. This is crazy stuff, man. And I'm not even went into like conspiracy territory at all tonight. I haven't went into any kind of conspiracy territory. This is all real things that are going on. We're not talking about the transhumanism and all this other stuff. There you go. 2026, they're going to be able to kill your car, the kill switch. Now, think of the possibilities that could come with that kind of power, right? And that kind of power, be able to kill your vehicle at any moment's notice. I mean, Teslas, as far as I know, some of these EVs can already drive you to the local police station. I mean, it's just crazy stuff that we're living in. Of course, we could use these things for good, but will they be used for good, right? I mean, do we have the capacity, to use these things for good? I don't believe so. I believe this is all rolling over into the New World Order, the thing that we talk about every week, the thing that we are constantly talking about, which is this global economic, this world economic shift, right? Even, who knows if we even have cars in 2026, if we survive whatever this new fiasco overseas is happening. But this is real deal right here. So we couldn't even get Republicans to vote with Thomas Massie to defund the mandate. So there you go. That's just crazy. So I'm not planning on buying a car anyway, but I'm definitely not planning on buying a car for 2026. So, all right. So I want to get into some personal stuff, right? About this primary going on. So let's look at these candidates right here. Let's look. I'm going to leave this up for a second because Tim Scott has recently dropped out. Way to go, Tim Scott. I like Tim Scott. I think he's pretty cool. I agree with him a lot. not going to be president this time, right? Mike Pence, you wasted every bit of our time, even trying to go for the presidency. It's absolutely insane listening to Mike Pence on stage, and especially whenever he was on the Tucker Carlson interview. If you haven't already seen it, and he basically said that the America falling into the pits of hell is not his concern. Right? That killed him first and foremost. There's no way that he could survive after that. And then we get into the quirky, the commercial, the ad for him running where he's pumping gas and he doesn't even turn the gas on. That's just stupid stuff. But I'm just saying that they're so clueless these people are, that think that they can waste all of our time, God, with running for president, as if Mike Pence ever had a chance. So let's look at the people who are left, right? Because the bottom line is Donald Trump is going to be the primary candidate no matter what. I believe it. If I'm wrong, I will admit that I'm wrong, but I cannot see another way. Even if he's in jail, I cannot see any other path than Donald Trump. So let's just look at who we have left, right? And this is a political article. I mean, no, it's politics from Vox. I'm sorry, it's not a political, it's Vox. I can't stand Vox, right? I mean, nobody can stand Vox. But we're going to share this article because this was a good one where I could I'm not even going to talk about what they say these people are, but let's look at who's left. Of course, we have Donald Trump. He's going to be the primary. All right, there's no question about it. Every single poll, now we're getting to the national territory polls. I mean, there's no question. They've done so much damage to their reputations. They've attacked him so much over baseless nothingness that now, like, people that you would never think that are opening their eyes are like, wow, okay, something is wrong here, right? They've shot themselves in the foot here. So let's talk about Ron DeSantis. I feel like Ron DeSantis is wasting everybody's time, right? He's a good governor. He has some strong policies. There's a lot of things I agree with him. I like the guy. I'm not even going to joke about his 3-inch high heels or whatever that he's wearing. I guess he thinks he's not tall enough. I don't know. Whatever. To me, that's crazy to me. You know, you walk out. Why would you do that? Like, why would you do that? I don't understand the thought process behind there. If God made you 5'5", you're 5'5". You know, why do I need to put on 3-inch high heel, Italian boots? I don't know. It's beyond me. But you get caught doing something like that on TV, and it just tarnishes your reputation. But DeSantis is wasting our time. Okay, he's probably going to be the clinger. Okay, I mean, obviously they're bleeding cash. I honestly believe we could look at a derelict of duty from just how he's running for this campaign, knowing that he's not going to be able to make it, and he should go back to Florida and just keep working on Florida, right? Because he's such a strong governor. We should have more governors like him. But for whatever reason, these people get it in their mind that they're going to be these great leaders and presidents and stuff. I don't understand it. And maybe it's just me. I don't look at things as stepping stones. I look at things as, where can I help? How can I help? At least spend a few years doing some things and setting up, especially if you're as good of a governor as DeSantis is. Why not, be able to just be this impact that other governors, you pave these roads for all these other governors to follow you. I don't know. But DeSantis, you need to just go ahead, drop out, save everybody some time, and just go back to Florida and then regroup and then rebrand yourself however you want to, so that you will eventually one day be president of the United States of America. It's not going to be this time. You know it. Everybody else knows it. Just get out of the way and get yourself reformatted for the next time, brother. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. Nikki Haley, former UN ambassador Nikki Haley. Well, that picture right there should just be enough for anybody who wants to that picture ought to be enough right there. I mean, this woman is not a good person. She is a neocon. She is a military industrial little, child of the military industrial complex, big time establishment woman. that just there's just no way. And what's so funny about it is I think if you, and I'm not talking about just me, this is my perception of the news media, but you notice the news media are always on Nikki Haley. Like the mainstream media has got Nikki Haley's back. You would think that they'd be propping up Ron DeSantis more, right? But they're propping up Nikki Haley because they pretty much know that Ron DeSantis is a lame duck. He's not going to make it anywhere. So this is their, I guess they're combining the woman and the daughter of Indian immigrants and all these things, and the fact that she's bought and paid for by the industrial complex, corporatocracy, you name it, that they're really just pushing this woman out there. And that ought to give you a red flag just to begin with, right? But the more that you find out about Nikki Haley, the worse it gets, right? The more you disagree. And she reminds me so much of like a Republican Elizabeth Warren, to be honest with you. I've always questioned this woman, but like now the gloves are off, and like everybody knows, like she is a shill. I mean, just flat out shill. There's no way that she is going to make it through this process. She might as well just give it up and quit wasting everybody's time, because all she's doing is damaging herself, right? Damaging herself. So let's move on down here. So I'm going to save Vivek for last. All right, I'm going to save him for last. I don't even have a whole lot to say about Chris Christie. I mean, Chris Christie is completely laughable, man. I mean, completely laughable. Why? Why is what I want to know. I mean, the dude is off his rocker, man. It's Chris Christie, for crying out loud. This is a joke. This is an absolute joke. Watching Chris Christie even try to like hang in with the big dogs. I used to have a little respect for Chris Christie, you know? I mean, none of these people are my enemies by any means. I mean, obviously they're establishment. Obviously, if I were in politics and doing things, I mean, I probably wouldn't be working with them, but I don't consider them just a complete, total enemy, right? Which they probably are in the grander scheme of things. But I mean, this man is a joke. I can't believe. Well, Tim Scott. I figured Tim Scott would have hung out, you know, longer than Christie, right? Like Mike Pence, that was the absolute joke. But Chris Christie he's second place to Mike Pence. Not as bad, but like this dude, there's just no way. He's wasting everybody's money, everybody's time. Maybe he's just because he's from New Jersey, they think they can wrangle in this conservative vote from the north. I don't know. I don't know what it is. But it's just another clown world. This is a three-ring circus, and dude just needs to get out of the way, right? So now, former Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson, you know, there's been some questionable things about Asa Hutchinson that I've seen. You know, I don't follow him much. I mean, what can you say? Like, I don't even know what he's doing. I mean, some of these, well, maybe he's just trying to get out and get a platform, right? But he will not even be a contender. So you have North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum, who's still in there. Don't even know a lot about this guy. So, I mean, hey, I welcome the you know, the lower end people that I've never heard of. Maybe I should look into this guy, right? I mean, he's not going to be president, but he's on the stage, right? Texas pastor, entrepreneur Ryan Binkley. Like, this is another one that I had to look out and say, who is this guy? You know, he's never before sought political office. Probably the least known candidate. He founded Generational Group, which advises mergers and acquisitions. Well, that's great. As well as created a church in Richardson, Texas, alongside his wife. So, you know, he's running. Good for him. Like, these two won't get any airtime. Asa Hutchinson's not going to get nothing. I mean, so that's who is still in. We can also cover real quick Tim Scott, right? I like Tim Scott. So he has establishment credentials, you know, blah, yada, yada. But he's gone. That's good. Whatever, man. Just get out of the way. So let's go back to Vivek. Now, I'll tell you right now, if you don't know who Vivek Ramaswamy is, or you haven't been following him, he's worth wasting my time, and not because he's going to be president, right? He's not going to be president, okay? But I tell people the same thing all the time. You know, you got to be smarter than just this whole RD thing, right? Vivek Ramaswamy, no matter where he has got ties to the WEF, and he's a rich dude. There's a lot of things that I don't like about Vivek, but I'll tell you one thing. Just like I tell people about Robert Kennedy, when I see these people and they're up on these media platforms and are talking about BlackRock and State Street, and talking about frogs, atrazine in the water turning frogs gay. I mean, this is the kind of stuff where I'm like, wow, okay, so you're validating these truths that people like me get made fun of when we talk about them. So this last presidential debate that we had, Vivek Ramaswamy was off the charts. I mean, he went out like full-blown 90-0, tearing everybody up. I mean, it was so amazing to just see that kind of, those truth bombs that were just being spit out on national television, right? I will safely say this, is that I hope that if there's a Trump presidency, that Vivek has a spot in there. A lot of people are talking about he should be the, not the speaker, he should be the press secretary. Now that would blow my mind if we could get Vivek Ramaswamy to be the press secretary, right? Especially after the Jean-Pierre. I mean, they're so lame to watch. It's insane. How the lies and deceit and the non-question answering. Ugh. And you've seen them all. I mean, it's a joke. It's a comedy tour. The Biden administration is a comedy tour, right? They're not even. We don't even have representation. But I will let Vivek Ramaswamy waste my time all he wants. If he wants to stay until the bitter end, I'm loving it, because he's out there spitting truth bombs all over the place. And the media can't stand it. Fox News can't stand it. Nobody can stand it. They're trying to paint this guy. But you're not getting any of this from DeSantis. You're not getting any of this from Haley. All you're getting is war, and Donald Trump bad, and all this stuff. And I just think it's hilarious. So I really like Vivek, okay? I really, really like Vivek. Am I going to vote for Vivek? No, I'm not going to vote for Vivek, right? I think Vivek would need to stick around for 10 or 12 more years and prove himself to me that he is legit, But obviously, even if he has controlled opposition, the damage he's doing, with calling people out, and the actual truth is really, really cool. I like it, man. So I'm just saying, all of these people need to get out of the way and let Donald Trump go ahead and take this primary, right? Now, I'm a balanced, fair person, and let me explain what's going to happen. I'm calling all bets right here, okay? What's going to happen? Donald Trump will get the primary. And when Donald Trump gets the primary, all hell is going to break loose all over this nation. Summer of love times 10, okay? And you just be prepared for it. It's not something that I want to happen. It's something that is going to happen, because they're not going to allow Trump to be president again, okay? No matter what, they're not going to allow it. Now, if that makes you uncomfortable, then you need to do some soul searching, right? You need to look in the mirror and find out, are you a hot, red-blooded American, or are you a coward? Because I'm telling you what I think is going to happen here, is that another Donald Trump presidency is going to bring this nation to its knees, because these people will wage war like we've not seen, okay? And Donald Trump will come back with a vengeance. He will, I believe now, he sees more than ever the deep state, the swamp, whatever have you. And he's going to have vengeance, and rightfully so. Because think about this for a second. We can't even get some accountability for somebody like Secretary Mayorkas, right? Without 8 Republicans, 19 Republicans, so-and-so. Nobody gets punished. Nobody gets punished. Nobody gets held accountable. I posted memes earlier about this, when you look back, it is all one big, huge clown show, and nobody ever gets held accountable. I covered with you earlier the article about China runs the biggest, most vast disinformation network we've ever seen. But we were told for years that it was all Russia, Russia, Russia. Now Russia is in battle. Okay? All of these oxymorons, these ironies that are happening, this is all controlled opposition, gaslighting, you name it. And you got to understand what's going on here, because it's crazy. They're telling you the truth now. They're telling you who's the real disinformation people and what, you know. We've lived under these facades, these lies for so long. And all I'm saying is that be prepared, because I am prepared for a Donald Trump presidency. I am prepared to stand up and to fight and to go into battle with this deep state, this swamp, to hold these people accountable, to start restructuring the institutions that have been completely dismantled, all of these things. And one of the most telling, parts of this primary, right? These runner-ups that are going through, is that none of them seem to care very much about what's happening to Donald Trump. None of them can get past the man and look at the situation, right? So you're being lied to on every single level. I mean, every single level we're being lied to. And of course, they don't want to admit that what's happening here is like completely breaking down everything, our law and order, our judicial system. They're not going to admit that. But like I said, they're wearing 3-inch heel boots, to make you think that they're a little bit taller. I mean, this is what you're dealing with here. Bought and paid for people. Bought and paid for people with agendas, and it's stop Trump at any cost, And I've always said this: Donald Trump's not the end all be all. But you got to understand, I'll tell you this right now: you vote for whoever you want to vote for, right? I'll never tell you who to vote for. But even if Donald Trump's in jail, I'm going to vote for Donald Trump. Okay, so you can look at it as throwing my vote away or standing my ground, because you can't have it both ways. You can't sit there and tell somebody to always stand on your line in the sand and vote your conscience and do these things, and then turn right around when you don't like what they're going to vote for, and then tell them that they're wrong and that they're destroying the party. That's the dumbest crap I've ever heard in my life. No, I ain't buying none of that. You do your thing. If you don't agree with me, hopefully God, people don't. Everybody doesn't agree with me. And say one of these candidates is your people. Hey, go for it, man. Vote for him. Because on the other side of this primary, I'm going to be stuck with whoever is on that side, right? Whether it's Chris Christie or Nikki Haley or Vivek Ramaswamy, right? But that's what we do. That we live in this constitutional republic. We're going to vote for whoever we're going to vote for. So I'm not telling you who to vote for. I'm just telling you that what you're being told is a lie, and that these people are wasting our time. And we should just go ahead and give this primary over to Trump and let him move forward through all of this crap that they're putting him and us through. And then if they're going to bring it, then let them bring it, because I'm fully prepared for it. Okay? And I want you to be prepared too, because they're going to make it hell on earth. They're already making it hell on earth, but America is going to go nuts. The George Soroses and the Antifas and all these organized, the PP hats and all this crap, they're going to go nuts. And so just be ready for it. But I hope to see some of these people drop out so that we can just get on to the next, phase of this, which is getting ready for either martial law, right? Because that's on the table. I mean, I seriously believe that's on the table. Like, they're not even lying anymore. They're not even lying. They're not even like hiding this anymore. They're like, we're going to bring this nation down. I mean, they said it from the very beginning. You go back to what's his name? The one with the real pointy nose. He said you go after the CIA, you go after the FBI. They got 6 ways of Sunday from getting back at you. They said all these things in the very, very beginning, right? And all of those press conferences and all those people promising that this nation was going to suffer for doing this, and that everybody that voted for this person is going to be made into some racist, some weird, They said it the first week of his presidency. We all watched it on TV, the tears and the screams and everybody threatening, oh, we're going to take this down. And they did. They did. They really, really hurt us. And now we can't even get 8 Republicans to just go ahead and side with one of their fellow constituents over an evil, maniacal maniac who is like somebody like Mayorkas. It's insane to me, but here's where we're at, you know. But I'm going to take some comments because I'm getting ready to oh no, I lost some comments. How do I lose comments? Oh man, somebody, I don't know, I lost some comments, but somebody told me that I complained too much, and you might be right. I don't even know who it was. I can't see it, but you might be right. I might complain too much, but it's very, very easy to unfollow. It's very, very easy to block me, and it's real easy to not listen. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's all you got to do. You can unfollow, or you can just turn it off, or then you can block me, and you'll never have to see me again. So, shoot, that's easy stuff, man. Give me something better. Give me something harder to do. Matthew Loveless, only going to get worse. LOL. Unfortunately, it's true. I know it sounds like doom and gloom, but I mean, just look at all the hypocrisies that we covered this evening, right? Like, how do we get better from this? I mean, maybe griping about it's not the best way to do it, but like, I really want to know, because like, I'm doing my part, and I'm getting the old guard out, right? And when I say I'm talking about a lot of us. We're working very hard to get that old guard out, right? And get in with the new. Like, we're going to bring in new people with new ideas that aren't bought by such and such, and they're going to change things, and they're going to be a bit radical. You know, I'm trying to do that, right? But I get at every single corner, at every single intersection, what happens, right? Well, you get told that you're the one screwing up the party, that you're the one that is the insane, you know, tinfoil hat wearer. You're the one that's messing everything up, and this is not the way it's supposed to go. Like, I thought that's what we were supposed to do, right? Because the trajectory we've been on hasn't been working. So how does this get any better? How does it get any better when we can't keep Republicans together, and we can't vote on common sense, and we can't hold people accountable, right? The only person we got held accountable was Kevin McCarthy, and it was the greatest thing I've ever seen in, I mean, like, so many years. Like, seeing Kevin McCarthy being vacated from that chair was magical. Furthermore, watching the clown show and watching all this gaslighting about how horrible this is and how horrible that Matt Gaetz was for doing this, blah, yada, yada, only to get this Mike Johnson, and I'm not here to talk about Mike Johnson tonight, right? Yeah, well, there's a lot of things we can gripe about, but Mike Johnson is way better than what some of the alternatives, right? But my point is, so to get Mike Johnson, they had to go through so many crazy hoops, and like, well, I mean, there was so much that happened, and all of a sudden this guy that we didn't know yesterday, and all of a sudden today he's our Speaker of the House, right, has got it, and the Democrats are freaking out because they didn't see this one. Because they were thwarting it at every effort. The Kevin McCarthy bros were doing the same thing. It was all a tug of war. It was all a fight, infighting, and all of this crap, these backdoor deals, and all of a sudden we actually ended up with Mike Johnson. And I'm like, wow, okay, so yeah, maybe we can criticize him, but hey, I'm glad he's there, and it's a good thing, and let's see what happens with him. But my God, like, how does it get better? I don't know how it gets better. So, you know, that's a good, you know, it's only going to get worse, right? Maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Donald Trump presidency will bring about peace and all these other things. But be ready for what they're going to do when he takes over this primary. We're like, 355 days? Be ready for Donald Trump to take this primary. Be ready, because it's going to get crazy. All right, it's going to get crazy. Crazy. So, Matt Loveless again. So, we use our tax dollars to fund a program to limit our freedoms. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Don't get me started on taxes. Now, I could just try to kind of keep it chill tonight, but there's a lot of crap going on with taxes. I mean, we're getting taxed to death, y'all. We're getting taxed on everything. Unrealized gains. We've got the SPLOST. We've got property tax. We've got income taxes, educational tax. I mean, the gas tax, man. What a joke. Like, they released the gas tax, relieved the gas tax in Georgia. Well, that's all good. I'm glad they did. Thank you, Kemp, for doing that, whatever. But, man, we're paying like 60 cents on a gallon for freaking taxes? Are you kidding me? It's bonkers, man. It's bonkers. Matthew Levis, I'll help, LOL. Look at solar flare talk in the news and Trump's upcoming testimony. Some people are looking to see if we have a blackout when his side drops information. It's a good point. I didn't even cover this this news revelation about possible blackouts from the solar storm, right? A lot of solar activity. I watch a lot of that stuff too. I mean, I see a lot of it. But who knows? I mean, how can we trust anything anymore? It's hard. It's hard. Especially with like archaeology and like all kinds of like Egyptian stuff. Like when you see these ads all the time and you see all these headlines that have these real catchy, headlines that make you want to click on it, but they always say some of the crazy stuff. Who knows? I mean, I follow Dane Wigington, man. He does all kinds of stuff with solar flares and everything. He's an entertaining dude. He's got a great channel. But who knows? I mean, and who knows if this is another psyop that they're going to use for a real blackout, right? Some real interference in our communication. So, sure, that's a good point. Jennifer Tudor, Nikki Haley equals Pocahontas. Man, I cannot think about Nikki Haley without thinking of her. So, Elizabeth Warren, it's just like they're twin sisters from the East and West Witch of Wizard of Oz. I don't know. It's just crazy. That's what she reminds me of. And that picture, oof, I mean, say what you will, but I mean, Nikki Haley is not our friend at all. Nikki Haley wants war, and I am so sick and tired of people who want war. I'm sick of it, and I'm a war junkie, and I'm so sick and tired of this crap. So, Jennifer Tudor says Christie has no shame. No, he has zero shame. I don't know. I just think about I'm a human, man. If I could win the lottery, I would become a billionaire. But I think about how much money is wasted on these campaigns. How much money is wasted. How many people just give their money to this kind of stuff, but you can't single that out because we give our money to everybody, right? I mean, people get duped all the time into thinking they got a boyfriend in the Netherlands and that they date online for 2 years. Next thing you know, their bank accounts are getting wiped out $40,000. I mean, so it's the same as anything else. And like I said, let's go back to Colton Moore. Whatever you think he's doing with gaining money for his campaigning and everything else is no different than anybody else. We just want to... It's no different. There's no difference in anything he's doing. It's not even the point. But I digress. Jennifer says, Vivek could handle the press well. I think he could. I'm not the only one. I stole that. I stole that from some of the people I listen to. Big shout out to Luke Radowski. If you're not following him on YouTube, I love the dude. But yeah, he said he would make a good press secretary, and as I was listening to it, I was like, man, this guy would. I mean, he's sharp as a tack, but what he's up there talking about is truth bombs. I'm talking about dropping truth bombs. He was dropping truth bombs on the moderators. It was insane to watch, to actually see somebody up there calling it like it is. And every time I see Kennedy is calling it like it is. And I'm like, yeah, you crazy. I ain't voting for you. But, man, thank you for telling this stuff. Thank you for speaking these things. Because already he has debunked like 5 conspiracy theories this year that was like totally, if you even say these things out in public, you're getting ridiculed. And it's like, nope, now it is mainstream. Oh, people are pulling up reports from 2008, 2012, and they're like, wow, this is real. That this is what kind of clown world we're living in. All of this stuff is controlled. So, Jennifer Tudor, they're bringing this country to her knees without a Trump presidency. They're doing both. I mean, either way, we're sliding downhill, right? And that's why I say prepare to slide downhill faster if Trump becomes the nominee, which he's going to become the nominee. I wholly believe that. So they're going to escalate just like they did in 2016. God, if you imagine, you go back from 2016 to 2020 and think about what kind of changes we went through in this world and how COVID completely upended any sort of society that we knew, and then brought about the people that were like, hey, we planned this. This is the first step, and we're going to do more things because we are going to take control of the world. You're too stupid and you're too populated, so we are going to now ramrod this thing through. And that's where we're at. That's where we're at. Now, kill switches in cars, 2026. Your internet. If you get online and you complain too much, well, they'll shut you down. So I'm sure the previous guy that posted that, hey, he probably loved to see me shut down. Matthew Lovelace, reading in news, Catholic Church, the Pope just banned Catholics from being Freemasons. There's a lot of stuff going on in the Catholic Church. So I'm not Catholic. Be honest with y'all, I really don't give a crap about the Pope. All that, His Holiness thou, I believe in God and Jesus Christ the Savior. I'm not going to worship some man in Rome with a big, huge wall around his church that keeps people out while immigrants come into my country and become Catholics. So the dude is nuts, and if you don't think that the Roman Catholics have anything to do with the New World Order, think again. So there's so many rabbit holes you can go down to about Catholicism. I'm not trying to, if you're Catholic out there, I'm not trying to offend you. To each his own, but I really don't care. The Pope is, what can you say about that? This guy is basically a socialist, and there are so many things. There's several stories, and I appreciate you bringing that up, Matthew, because there's several stories out this week. Couple that come to my head, but I can't. I'm not going to articulate them for you because they're like, what was it, a bishop or something in Texas is too conservative, so they kick the bishop out. We're talking about abortions. Catholics are going to make abortions okay. It's God says abortion's okay. God says this transgender's okay. This is all a bunch of BS, and we should call it BS, what it is. But anyway, it is what it is. And Jennifer says, I can't always find you. If you're meaning me, yeah, a lot of people tell me that they can't always find me. I don't know how else that I can broadcast out. They've got me by the you-know-whats here. So obviously I'm shadow banned like anybody else out there doing this. And it is what it is. So we just do it the best we can. But I do want to leave you guys with something tonight that I found very interesting. Two things, all right? And then I'm going to go. Well, read my post from the other night about the Mad Balls that from the 80s, and you'll see what I'm talking about. I won't even waste your time because I'm already going over. But I would like to end with this right here.
Everything else that happened later was just a consequence of that. That's the revolution. The revolution happened in their heads before it happened anywhere else. In fact, John Adams himself made a point out of this. He said the revolution was effected before the war commenced. The revolution was in the hearts and minds of the people. This radical change in the principles, opinions, sentiments, and affections of the people was the real American Revolution. The fighting, war, physical, military part of it, that was way later. That came way later in the story, and it was way shorter than this part that John Adams is talking about. And people forget that. Or maybe they were never taught it. Maybe they didn't forget it because they never knew it in the first place. But if you didn't know it, now you do. The way they viewed the king, the crown, the power what that meant in terms of what rights of power were legitimate, what authority in that symbol was legitimate, completely changed at that time. And the people themselves, their opinion of themselves changed a lot. They rose themselves up consciously. Their view of themselves in terms of their reality and their place in that society, in that reality, changed completely. in ways that were considered radical.
Okay. So that video is from TruthStream Media. I talk about them all the time. I hope that everybody, all my people out there, subscribe to them because they're my #1 channel, the best content out there. I wanted to share that was their newest video drop this week, it's called "No, Humanity Doesn't Have to Zombie Walk into a Dystopic Nightmare Future." So, that statement that they read on there really hit me, and I'll go back and I'm going to read it one more time. I'm not going to play it, but I'm going to read it. So right here, it says, in John Adams' words, too often forgotten by historians, the revolution was effected before the war commenced. The revolution was in the hearts and the minds of the people. This radical change in the principles, opinions, sentiments, and affections of the people was the real American Revolution. That speaks volumes to me. This revolution is already in our head, just because it's not physical, and this goes for every side, okay? Because this lunatic leftist ethos believes the same thing. The revolution is already in the minds, right? That's where it starts. Now we're living in times where our minds are going to be tried, like big time. Like we are already seeing this technology with the phones, with the way the internet is, the way we advertise, the way that this consciousness of mind, how people are follow each other, the sheeple, all of these things, man. Just hear me out for a second, but the revolution's already in our heads, like. Just because, like they said, the war and the fighting and all this stuff came way later, but it's already in our heads. Like we already have to be prepared because the revolution is already going on here, and it's far greater than physicality or kinetic fighting or anything like that. But we have to continue to realize that this is, fifth generational warfare. We've covered this. These are psyops. These are designed to keep us divided, and I say it all the time. And I don't know what the answer is. But I do know that this revolution is already in our heads, man. And we just need to know the difference, right? I say the Serenity Prayer a lot because just know that this is going to be a tough year coming up. And if they have in store, right, the artificial intelligence that story is old. And we started out the year with ChatGPT. Now we're at ChatGPT 67, and everybody's using artificial intelligence for everything, right? So this big push that happened at the beginning of the year, you never even heard of it, and you thought everybody was crazy that talked about it. Now it's part of everyday life. Now you can do your college essays in 5 minutes. I get ads all the time for streaming and video stuff just because I clicked on one time. Where if I download this AI program, I can put explosions in the background. I can do all these things that these blockbuster movies can do. And they're being added to your messenger, and they're being added to every single social media, the algorithms. What I'm trying to say is that all of these things are happening, and in 2026, they're going to put a kill switch in your car. They're going to say that they can use it for impairment, right? They can use it for anything they want to. If they're telling you that they're trying to pass an equity bill for your internet, right, which is where we're at now. We're on social media. I'm doing this crap here. But they're going to be able to control it where they can just bypass, what do we start with at the beginning of this year? We start with the Twitter files. The huge revelations about the Twitter files are still ongoing. But here we are now. They're laughing at you in your face, and they're telling you that don't worry about that. Because you don't even have to be mad at Facebook anymore, because the government is going to have control over your internet. We'll be able to throttle your internet and do all these things, right? I'm just saying, man, the picture doesn't look very pretty. So what you're in this time now, the revolution's in your head, right? So be prepared for it. Be prepared for what comes with all this, because what is it going to be in 2028, 2030, 2034? And you watch some of these futurists and you read some of their stories, and it doesn't look good for humanity. It doesn't look good. And maybe we're searching for the light at the end of the tunnel. I don't know. But just keep all this in mind. I hope tonight that I was able to just kind of show some of the hypocrisies that we're dealing with here. After all these years, it's like they don't want you to have a brain and be able to remember how things were and the crap they were peddling and pushing. And now it's like full circle. And so we continue to be validated daily. But I appreciate everybody hanging out. If you liked it, feel free to share it. Just give me a like, a thumbs up, whatever. And I'm fixing to go now and see if this thing worked on Rumble. That would be an awesome plus if it works on Rumble. You can follow me there on Small 10 Underground. We got some pretty cool stuff coming up in the next couple weeks, gearing up for the holidays. And next Wednesday night, which we will have Michael Anthony on the show. I can't wait. It's going to be an awesome show. We're going to get together a little bit online and lay it out and make sure that all the stuff's working good. So stay tuned for next Wednesday. And